loves, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Love What Luck. Hope you're all doing well. I just want to get the elephant out of the room first. Last week, if you were one of the, I think 40, what my numbers tell me, I think it was 40 of you. If you were one of the 40 that got the unedited or part edited version of the episode last Tuesday morning, then I just want to say I'm sorry. I sincerely hope it won't happen again. I would like to say it won't. But yeah, obviously I just want to apologise. You can imagine the anxiety it caused me when I tell you, severe anxiety. I didn't even listen to the episode that I put out because I was like, if I hear what has actually gone out, it will tip me over the edge. I opened my eyes on Tuesday morning and I had like 2 messages, I think, being like, what's happening with this week's episode, blah, blah. I was like, no, and you just know straight away what you've done. And I was like, oh my God, I've uploaded a different version. So I just deleted it straight away and put it on. So I'm hoping most of you listening to this being like, what the hell is she on about? But for that small number of people, I just want to say I'm sorry. I really hope you're back this week and you haven't given up on me. Honestly, guys, you sent me into a spiral. Even doing this part of the episode, I feel like one of those YouTubers. No, like when James Charles, I don't even fully know what he did, but didn't he like message minors or something, like DM minors? How those people come back and have to look at the camera and apologise, I don't know, because this is enough for me. This is as much scandal as I can handle. It caused me quite a bit of anxiety, but thank you for those that messaged me. I obviously took it quite badly. And have you seen the song going around on TikTok? It's not the Muppets, I don't think, but they look like the Muppets. And it's that song. And I basically got my boyfriend to sing it to me all day. On and off. I was like, will you sing it to me again? And it's
that wonderful girl, could she be any cuter? Who's that wonderful girl?
I was like, will you sing it to me? Because I just need to feel better. Literally, it lasted days. But, you know, I listened to Daily J. Now, I always go on about the Calm app. I listened to Daily J. I think this was like a couple of days after. I know Jay Shetty, but he was doing a little segment on self-criticism and how we need to show ourselves kindness and how you would never speak to a child the way sometimes you speak to yourself. Now, like, loads of people do that in a child work, don't they? Which I've never really been on board with. It's probably a little bit too, I mean, we know I love a therapist and a self-help talk, but the inner child, I don't know, I've never quite got there. But on Thursday, when I was still in the depths of like recovering from my mistake, I thought, yeah, if there was, for me, I think what's easier is like not so much saying it to a child, but of course that is really good. But like a friend, you know? So like when I'm saying like to my boyfriend or to my mother, wherever, and they like, don't worry, the mistakes happen, you rectified it straight away, like it's fine. I know that I would be saying the same thing to somebody else, but obviously when it's yourself, you're a lot harder on yourself. But look, mistakes happen. This is very long-winded. As I said, lots of you, I hope, are probably like, what the hell is she even on about? But can I just ask if if you did hear it, please don't tell me. I've even been thinking, I was like, what if I burped on it or something? I don't know. When your mind starts spiraling. Anyway, yeah, done. It's past and the right one's out there. So if you did hear it, unless you come in to say some like very nice comment, please don't remind me, because I'm hoping I can put it to bed this week mentally and get over it. So anyway, that's it. Intro over, very long and boring, but had to be done. Right, I've got a story this week. It's a tiny bit different to ones we've usually had because it's about friendships, but it really got to me. It actually really got to me. And, you know, I feel like I do say quite a lot on you when I talk about relationships, and I do always say, well, I feel like I always say recently, maybe not forever, but it's the same applies to friendships as well, because all relationships, like whether they ones you're in love with, you know, ones that you just see on a late lonely Friday night for whatever reason, they're all a relationship and they all take work and they all go through ups and downs. So I think friendship ones are just as important. And yeah, this one got to me, so let's read her out. Okay, she says, hi Sadie, can I share a story with you about my friendship that I've now had to walk away from? I feel like I'm going through a heartbreak for my friend. I am sat here tearing up as I am hurt that my friendships have ended. It's been so hard, with one of my friends being the main cause or instigator of the issues, I feel. For some reason, she just had some unspoken issue with me, and I don't understand why. Over 10 years ago, I started a new job after leaving a company where my manager bullied me, leaving me feeling helpless, anxious, and low in self-esteem. I was so glad for my new job, and I got trained up by a lovely girl, let's call her Sarah. We got on so well from day one, had most of the same interests and thought processes on most things. We became friends, not just colleagues. Eventually, after a few years, I got a new job, but we still kept in contact. I'd meet up with Sarah every few weeks. I wouldn't say I'm a person who has a large circle of close friends, but Sarah was my closest and best friend. When I split from my ex, Sarah arranged for us to meet, and she brought her friend, let's call her Laura. For me, straight away, I'm like, there's an existing third person coming into the group, the equivalent of a red flag. Not like that she did it in a red flag way, but I'm just like, we all know that that's just going to be the start of the issues. We got on right away, and I had no issues at this point. Like myself, Laura was single at the time, wanted to travel, and we had most of the same interests. 6 months later, me and Laura decided to book to go to Ibiza in New York. So why I sound so surprised at that, but I am. Because I was kind of thinking that when I'm listening to this, I was thinking that maybe Sarah would have the issue because she's brought this third friend in, like her friend essentially, and now you two are going on holidays together. But that's not the issue. The issue is they go on holiday together, and she said this was where the issue started. Laura seemed quite abrupt on these holidays, and everything had to be on her terms. I felt Laura would be abrupt with me and say lots of negative comments, for example, about my outfit, or if things didn't go to plan. She made me feel horrid. It was difficult to deal with. I'd cry in the bathroom at times at how mean some of her comments were. I kept the peace and compromised a lot and did things Laura's way. Which I think one is absolutely classic. Generally women, I want to say, or girls. I can't speak for men, but I think generally like that's what we do. Another thing I want to say is they do say that like the big test of any relationship is when you go on holidays, and that's definitely true. I actually don't think I've ever been away with somebody and thought, I can't stick you. Let me try and think. No, but I have been in a situation where I've gone with my two close friends and they weren't friends, and the three of us went on a trip and that didn't work out well, and I think that was because it's a trip. Because when people go on holidays, I think they spend money on it, and obviously they've taken the time off, and it's a big thing that people get excited for. So, as she said, like she did things Laura's way. Because some people, obviously when you go away, you like doing certain things. Some people like to spend all day at the beach. Some people like to do this and that. And obviously Laura wants things done her way and was quite difficult in like changing that. Okay, so she says, a year later, my friend Sarah wanted to book a girls' weekend trip. We chose Marbella. This holiday was really difficult, but I agreed because Sarah was going to be there, so I thought it would be different. Fair enough. However, Laura did much of the same as she did in Ibiza and New York, and Sarah witnessed this. I tried to compromise and keep the peace, however, an argument broke out and I had reached my limit. I was that upset I packed to fly back home early. Laura was constantly saying backhanded comments, and because I made a genuine mistake about the service charge at the restaurant, she was horrible to me about it. We flew back home and I felt this could have been the start of the end. I did feel Sarah had made lots of allowances for Laura's behaviour and dismissed a lot of it. The pandemic hit, we would all text, video chat, and once lockdown was lifted, we met in outdoor spaces. On a few occasions, I'd noticed Laura made excuses and wouldn't come. By this point, she got a new boyfriend, and I'd noticed the contact dwindle. It was hard because I understood she was in a new relationship. I made lots of effort to go visit her and keep in touch, but it got hurtful when I felt Laura just wasn't as interested as before. Yeah, I feel like that's another big thing when the boyfriend first comes into the mix, because obviously naturally you want to spend more time with the boyfriend. And I think the biggest thing is when you've been friends and you're both single, it's like if a new film comes out, for example, you always go with your friend. You're like, let's do that, especially if it's just two of you. But then when you've got the boyfriend in the mix and that new film comes out, you're texting your friend, or your friend texts you and says, oh my God, do you want to go and see the new Harry Potter? First thing came to my head because I've been watching it. Which, by the way, guys, I read that if you watch a Harry Potter film every Sunday starting from now, so you're already late and you need to watch one tonight if you want to do it. But if you start every Sunday from now, you'll finish on Christmas Eve. How fun. We watched one last week and I'm going to watch another one tonight because I'm recording this on a Sunday. Wow, I'm going way off track. It's literally just because my boyfriend rang me. We were going to go for dinner and stuff, and then we were like, shall we actually just have a takeaway and watch Harry Potter? Anyway, sorry. Backtrack. She felt, they come back from the holidays, they're doing okay, it's COVID, they're all talking, but Laura starts to dwindle away, and this girl thinks maybe it's because she got a boyfriend. And I was saying that, like, say the new Harry Potter film comes out and then you text your friend and you're like, oh my God, we have to go and see Harry Potter, and she's like, oh, I already saw it with James, my new man. That can be like a big, issue thing, I think. Or like you done go to your best friend straight away to tell him something, you go to your boyfriend instead. And honestly, I don't think guys go through it, but I think it's a big thing with girls because our friendships are really important to us and you say so much to each other. So I think when the boyfriend comes in and the dynamic obviously does change naturally a little bit, you can really feel it. And obviously it's like nobody's fault or anything, I'm not blaming, like I've probably done it. I just think it's like a natural thing, Anyway. Okay, so the contact started to dwindle. She said it was hard, but I understood she was in a new relationship. I made lots of effort to go visit her and keep in touch, but it got hurtful when I felt Laura just wasn't as interested as before. I found out Sarah and Laura would make plans and not invite me. That kills me. Going to watch films and going out for drinks, etc. This got accidentally slipped out by the both of them when I arranged to meet for drinks on my birthday. It was so upsetting, especially when I lost my grandmother to COVID and they never checked in on me and they left me out of Christmas drinks that Laura had arranged. I felt in my gut she did it purposely. I mean, obviously, hun, there's 3 of you. If she didn't invite you, I don't think she just forgot. I don't think that's possible. Completely forgot to invite one of my supposedly closest friends. I felt at times they needed my help as a shoulder to cry on and someone to confide in, and I was always there for them. I really put effort in and sent them K-packs when they were down. I felt Sarah went along with leaving me out of things, and it happened numerous times. When I told Laura and Sarah how upset it made me feel, which well done, by the way, because I think that's a massive deal to go and tell people when they've made you upset. Like, it's actually huge, so well done. When I told them how upset it made me feel, they made me feel like I was the problem and my feelings were not valid. They got really defensive. That's a big red flag, and I think Stu said this on my episode with him a few episodes back. He said, like, with a partner, that if somebody acts all defensive, it's sometimes or usually like a sign of guilt. And I think if you say to anybody, a friend, partner, family, wherever, that something has upset you, and rather than being like, I'm really sorry you feel like that, actually I can understand how it would come across and I didn't mean it that way and I'm going to do better to make you not feel like that. If they don't react like that and instead they're like, what are you on about, you're crazy, like we don't have to invite you, take that as like a big sign that they not looking out for you and they know the type of people that care, I suppose. That might be a bit harsh, but it's not, like, because if anybody that I was close to came to me and said that they felt I'd upset them, I would feel awful. And my sort of biggest, like, goal at the end of that conversation would be to try and make things better. No, oh my God, you feel like this, like, you stupid wench, never talk to me again. Do you know what I mean? I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt and make plans for a day out, but both girls either didn't respond or made excuses. I was so upset and I asked them if they just didn't want to make plans with me. I left the WhatsApp group and told them I needed space as it was all getting too much how I was being treated. Again, I think that's really good. You've removed yourself from the situation. And it's just like you can tell, can't you, with anything when somebody starts pulling away from you. Okay, she says, Sarah reached out a few weeks later as we had theatre plans for her birthday, which I didn't feel comfortable going to, obviously because of everything going on. I expressed this to Sarah, but she said it would be okay. I wanted to keep my relationship with Sarah. I'd known her the longest, and maybe without Laura's negativity, the friendship would get back on track. A few days before we had the theatre, Sarah had an argument with me as I'd booked a holiday to Prague and got my calendar mixed up, and it clashed with plans we had in February the next year. Sarah shouted at me and made me feel horrible. I couldn't understand why, because girls made errors with their calendars and I understood. Obviously. Especially like far in advance, anybody close to me will be able to tell you. I'm the worst at planning stuff. I'm much better now actually since I've gone over the hill at 30. Before, I couldn't even, if somebody said to me, do you want to do something next month? I'd be like, next month, I can't even possibly talk about that. So I'm a lot better now than I used to be, but yeah, like people make mistakes with their diaries, easy. She said, I was so upset, but I went to Sarah's birthday theatre trip with a group. Laura made me feel so uncomfortable. She gave me dirty looks, rolled her eyes when I spoke, and muttered things under her breath. It turned out before the theatre, the girls had met up for drinks and lunch, but they didn't invite me. I ate alone in a restaurant near the theatre before meeting them, which I invited them to, but they made their excuses. That actually breaks my heart. That is something that, like, I can feel it in my gut and my heart. It's so mean. It's giving Regina George Mean Girls. You can't sit with us. And it's not nice. I decided this was their last straw. I couldn't keep going like this and it made me horrid. Fair enough. I think you had a lot of straws to go through before this was your last one. Wow. I didn't message any of the group after that. A week later, I had heard from Sarah. She made small talk, asked how I was and if I owed money for a drink. Suspicious. I then get a message saying how this year Sarah's not making any Christmas plans and will only be getting presents for family. I messaged back and I said whilst I completely respected the decision regarding gifts, I couldn't help but feel that the timing of this was a little strange, and I felt after how they treated me it was a way to push me away from the friendship group. I honestly don't have any bad feeling about the gifts, but my gut feeling was this was a tactic to not make further plans with me. Sarah didn't even deny it. I felt quite hurt and suggested we no longer contact one another anymore. I couldn't get on with the way I was being made to feel. I am heartbroken. Sarah responded and said she didn't want to leave things in a bad way and that she valued our memories together and wished me happiness. How I am feeling now is a lot like a breakup. I just feel like crying. My heart just hurts. However, part of me feels this for the best, as for a long time these girls were not there for me. I know it's for the best and I want to have positive people around me who value me. I understand there are a lot of stories to share, but I hope you're able to share mine. It's been very helpful to write it down and to help me heal. I just think it's so sad, guys. My take on it is, right, there's a 3. I think if it was just her and Sarah, it would have been fine. I think the issue is, and here's my take and I could be wrong, Sarah has got like a lifelong bestie, Laura. And then through work, she's made a colleague friend. However, that's quickly turned into being like an actual, BFF. But Laura has been feeling like, whoa, bitch, I'm your best friend. I think that's where the first issues lie. And yeah, they got on at first. But what I think, and I don't want to make her feel worse, but there's definitely been some WhatsApps going on there where Laura has messaged Sarah and being like, she's doing this, she's doing that. And basically, like, if there's a 3, it's very hard to stay neutral with a 2. I think especially with girls, because it feels like if you go in to be friends with somebody that your other friend doesn't like, or, your friend that doesn't treat you, a friend, well, then it causes issues. And I think she's simply just gone with Laura because that was her friend before, or she thinks whatever of that friendship. And I think that's like the issue. With a 3, I think unless you're a 3 from the get-go, and like that's how you know each other, I think it's hard because one person always feels left out. I even think that because I've introduced like friends to other friends, and then if two of us do something, I always feel bad. Like, should I invite this person? Or it's like if those two did something, like it's always a thing because when your birthdays and stuff come, you are like in a group, so you all kind of get on. But obviously, it's still mixing friends. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but it is a really hard thing. And I think friendship, breakups, or heartbreaks, whatever you want to call them, are 100% harder than boy breakups. I went for just like lunch and stuff with my friend yesterday, and I mentioned this. I was like, I had her on the tube, and I was like, I've had this email, like, and I want to talk about it, or whatever. And she was saying they hurt so bad. She's like, they're so much worse than boy breakups. And she went through like loads of arguments that she'd had with her friends, like friends she'd been with for 10 years that have fallen out for different reasons, and like all a mixture of reasons. But she said like it still hurts, and I've gone through stuff where I've fallen out with friends, and yeah, it really, really takes your toll on you. And I think the reason it's worse is because when you've got a boy, right, you've always, or girl, when you've got a partner, I mean, I'm speaking for most of us, you've always got your friends, yeah? So even like she said, when she broke up with her ex, she met up with Sarah. So when you go through your heartbreak with your partner, obviously it's devastating, soul destroying, all the rest of it. But you've always got your friends. So you can be like, right, I got no plans. Or they can be like, bitch, you need to come out. You need to get out the house. Wherever you need to do this. They text you to check in on you. You've always got that someone. And this is why they say that boys struggle with breakups more, straight boys, because they don't speak to their friends, like their guy friends. They confide in their girlfriends or their partners, wherever. So, when they lose that, they really struggle because they got nobody to open up to. So when we do it, we always have our friends. And I also think, at least for me, right, I always have a very strong belief, and right or wrong, I don't care, because it's my belief and I believe in manifesting. So I 100% fully believe in my heart and soul that I will end up happily married to my person. That's just a belief I've had throughout my whole life, and it's probably why I've walked away from relationships that there's nothing been wrong, they're just not the one, whatever, because I haven't got that fear that I'm gonna like end up alone or whatever, because I just always feel like I'll end up with somebody. That's just my belief forever. But apart from that, if I was single, if any of us are single, there's always somebody you can meet up with, like to, get your sexual desires in check. Somebody you can go out with on a Friday night and dress up. There's always somebody you can message, just bloody download to Hinge or Tinder. And I'm not saying they're your soulmates, and there might be single people out there now being like, are you crazy? They're all idiots on Hinge. But the point is that there's always someone to fulfill that part of your life, I think, in some way, like I said, like with the banging or with the messaging or whatever. But a friend, if you lose that friend, what is the equivalent? There's no equivalent quick fix that you can get. And that is really hard and really sad. There's especially like girl friendships, like we tell each other everything, and even just like stupid things like, oh, I've just eaten a biscuit, I feel disgusting. You can't say that type of stuff to your boyfriend without getting like an actual logical response. Perfect example, right? Yesterday I'm in the kitchen and I'd gone out in the morning early, but I was coming back home. Yeah, I hadn't had breakfast. My boyfriend messaged me, do you want bacon? Yeah, shock factor. I've been veggie for 5 years. It's on the back burner. I eat bacon now. Right. Anyway. So he texted me, do you want bacon? I said no, because I genuinely didn't want it. Anyway, obviously I come home, he's cooking the bacon, it looks delicious. I'm like, please, God, like I'm going to have a piece now. So he's moaning, classic, right? So then I said to him, I should obviously come in here and say this was after I'd had my own breakfast, which was banana on toast and tea and biscuit. and then I ate the bacon. So then I said to him, the reason that I said no to the bacon was because I wanted to be healthier and have my banana, and now I feel like I've eaten 2 breakfasts and I feel fat. And as I was saying this, I was there was like a little bit of toast left, and I thought, well, I'm not going to see that go to waste, obviously. I'm going to put some Nutella on it, because I like to have something sweet after I eat something savoury, right? So as I'm saying it, I'm butching Nutella, and he's like, you can't moan and say you feel fat when you're eating Nutella on toast in front of me. And I'm like, if that was my friend, she would never say that to me. She would be doing it alongside me. She'd be eating the Nutella with a spoon out to the jar and being like, oh my God, I feel the same. I feel so disgusting lately, but I just want to eat. And do you know what? It's just winter time at the minute, and I feel like it's okay because like you're all covered up anyway, and it's dark outside, and all you want to do is be inside and eat, and we'll just go to the gym in the new year. That's a conversation you have with your friends. And it's just like stuff like that you need. I'm sorry. I don't want your logical responses. I just want to talk and vent. And there's just stuff that your partner can never give you. And I think with friends, they are harder to come by because it takes a while to build up that relationship, obviously, like any relationship. Also, when you're adulting, it's really hard to make time for people. Like, there's a group of 4 of us that used to work together, trying to plan a dinner. We planned, I think it was booked in 4 weeks ago. It took 4 weeks to get one day on a weekend that we could all do together. So it's like also that. Also, if you're in London, well, anyway, I suppose, but especially London, the logistics. If somebody lives far away, naturally you're not going to see them as much. So it's really hard, I think, to build good friendships, and losing them, it is a heartbreak, and you're still losing somebody close to you. So when you're saying like I feel heartbroken, my heart hurts, obviously it is the same as losing a partner. This person, especially that Sarah, she's been in her life like 10 years, I think. So it's like it's just adapting to not having that person in your life, and it's really, really sad. I also think an issue with girls is we generally want to avoid conflict with our friends. So with your partner, most of us don't care about saying something that's pissed us off. I think arguing with your partner is very normalised. If you're arguing all the time, it's bad. But if you're having like a shouting argument with your partner, nobody thinks that's weird or bad. It's like when you argue with your sibling or your parents, you can shout, you can do that, and it's because like you'll always be okay. With a friend, I think that's different. I think it's a lot more scary. It can, like she said, like she told her friends and they got defensive, and basically now they're not talking. So I think it's a lot more scary. And when I've had conflict with my friends, it makes me feel physically sick, honestly. Like, I know I talk about anxiety, but oh my God, when I've had it, like, you can feel it physically in your body, in your chest, in your stomach. Absolutely horrific times. So yeah, I do think that's another issue. But like, she did what she should have. She told him. And I just think, do you know what? If you go to somebody, you tell them the problem, and they make no effort to try and make it better. In fact, they make it worse. Then no matter who they are, what type of relationship it is, they know the ones for you in your life. And as hard as it is, you have to let them go. And I think like, she knows, like, that anyway with what you're saying, like, it's for the best. So I think, as always, just got to give yourself time and, just make the effort. I don't know how many other friends you've got, but you've just got to put effort in to try and make new friends in work, friends that you speak to, friends online. Like, I've even met up with a girl that I met through my other friend, and we met up to make content. I feel like there's lots of ways now, because of social media, that do, help you be able to reach out to other people. And even like in London, there's always a TikTok that comes up that people do a hot girl walk club in Clapham, like every Sunday or something. I don't know where you live, but like, I'm sure there's something like that going on. I even saw yesterday that a girl had set up a book club because she'd moved from France to London again, I think. And she wanted to set that up for everyone to talk to. So for everyone, for people to talk to, and obviously like-minded people, because she was into books. So, I mean, I'm not saying you have to go and set up a book club, but I think the biggest thing is you've got to make an effort to try and get close to friends, because it's very important to have them in your life. And actually, I had screenshot this quote, right, that I saw on TikTok, story of my life, but I had screenshot it before this message came in. And then when I read the message, I was like, oh my God, I've got the right screenshot for this. So it's from a book called A Little Life. And basically he talks about friendships. And he says, he took pleasure in his friendships and it didn't hurt anyone. So who cared if it was codependent or not? And anyway, how was a friendship any more codependent than a relationship? Why was it admirable when you were 27 but creepy when you were 37? Why wasn't friendship as good as a relationship? Why wasn't it even better? It was two people who remained together day after day, bound not by sex or physical attraction or money or children or property, but only by the shared agreement to keep going, the mutual dedication to a union that could never be codified. Friendship was witnessing another's slow drip of miseries and long bouts of boredom and occasional triumphs. It was feeling honoured by the privilege of getting to be present for another person's most dismal moments and knowing that you could be dismal around him in return. Tell me, has that made me tear up a little bit? Yes, it has. Because it's true, friendships, like why aren't they better than relationships? Because you're keeping that person in your life for no, like I said, like not because of sex or not. Oh, sorry, my camera cut me off. Yeah, not just because you fancy them and stuff. And yeah, like true friendship is when you by that person's side in the most boring moments, the shittest moments, and you're always there and you kind of do it and understand that they're going to be there for you. But yeah, obviously, just like anything, if there's a time when those relationships are not serving you, then you got to walk away. And there are plenty of other people out there. Like, I've got new friends now that I didn't, think I was going to have. There's people in my life now that even 2 years ago I'd never even met. And now I speak to a lot and I see a lot. And yeah, there's like Abby who came on the pod. She actually messaged me and said that, the episode I did, sorry. See guys, I just coughed, right, and now I'm going to have a drink of water, and I just know if I put a mix-up edited version of, like, that's what I would have been doing in that episode last week, and now every time I do something similar, it's giving me PTSD. Anyway, I did that episode last week about was it last week or the week before, I think, with the invisible thread theory. Did I say this last week? I'm sorry if I did. But basically, Abby, who came on the pod, she's done like 2 or 3 episodes, messaged me and said, that was like us, she said, because she sent me a video the other week. Basically, the message came through, did you used to sing? And I was like, oh my God, if there is a video circulating online somehow of me singing, I'll have to leave the country. And I was like, yeah, I did. As in, like, I just used to sing in school. I used to love singing, I used to love performing, I used to do cheerleading, dancing, like all the rest of it. And I used to have singing lessons. Basically, my mother wanted me to do piano lessons. This is a bit of information nobody asked for, because she's very musical. And she was also in a band. She'll kill me if I don't say that. And she met Elton John, so shout out to Adele and Cliff Richard. Anyway, she tried to piano. I never liked it. I always wanted to sing. I love singing. I sing now all the time. After I've had a drink, you cannot shut me up. I come in when I'm drunk, and this was one of my favourite memories with my friend who has moved away. When we lived together, oh my God, every single time in the Uber home, we would blast out songs and we'd sing. And then when we lived together in the next place after COVID, we just used to have karaoke nights at home. And I've got a karaoke room that I can book out in my building. And yeah, I want to do it when she comes back for Christmas. I don't know if it's because I'm Welsh. Anyway, so I used to love singing. I love singing. And I used to sing a bit in school and do a couple of concerts. And I did a concert in Abby's school. And Abby's mother, because she's a teacher there, filmed it and was watching it like last month or something. Was like, is that Sadie? So I was singing in front of Abby and we never knew. Like, we never knew that we were going to be friends, like, 20 years later. How crazy is that? That's like a little, the invisible thread theory. But even with Abby, like, she lived close to me and I'd had my nails done with her before I moved to London and stuff. But we're close friends now. Like, we go away together and we speak all the time. Like, we're besties, and we didn't even talk 3 years ago. Do you get me? It's crazy. So there's always like new friends and stuff that can happen, and just relationships in general. So yeah, don't feel too down. Just like allow yourself to, feel it. And I think it is hard sometimes to accept the end of a friendship or a relationship, but sometimes, I don't know, you can't be around people that make you feel shit like that all the time. Like, it's just not good for anyone, is it? So do what you gotta do. If you have got any more stories like this, guys, please send them in. We can read them out next week. We can help our little listener feel better. Also, obviously, if you've got any other stories, please send them my way. You can email me. Lovewhatluck, I don't remember the email address then. Lovewhatluck@gmail.com. There's like all the details down below. Just, send me your stories. Please make sure you're liking, subscribed, follow, sharing. Leave me a review. All the rest of it. Because it really helps. Anyway, to give you how long? Oh my God, I've been talking for ages. I can see 40 minutes. I'm sorry, but I've got to tell you, I started my new job. I wanted to give you a little life update. And it was so funny, my first day, right? I was dressed in my very corporate outfit, going to my very corporate job, and I was listening to The Bold and the Beautiful, which is a podcast by the drag queens Trixie and Katya. And it was called Cum Dumpster, or something like that. And as I was literally walking into the building, they were talking about anal sex, and I felt like that meme. I think it's like the clip from American Psycho when he's walking with his earphones. It's like when you're walking to do something serious, but you're playing like Britney Spears or something. That was me. I was like, "Hi, yes, I'm here for my first day." And in my head was on about like coming over each other and stuff. It was mad. But I survived my first week. I'm surviving and thriving. Hope you are as well. I did have a little down moment, and this is basically why I want to tell you, is because I'm basically working back in the city where I used to work 5 years ago when I moved to London. Had the best, most chaotic, most fun, most crazy, most wild times of my life. I actually said to my friend the other day, I was like, if I had the podcast then, it couldn't be more different because it was wild. Then I had a mental breakdown, moved home, and then I moved back and decided that it was time for me to get a real job. It was time for me to, be a bit more serious about my life. I mean, it was still pretty chaotic. The only difference was I had a serious job. And I was wandering around. I was walking past, there's this patch of water that I used to sit at alone on my lunch break. And then I was wandering around Tesco and I was on the phone to my mother because I didn't want to stay in the office on my first day to eat because, I don't know, it just felt tragic to me to go and eat alone there on my first day. And also I wanted to ring my mother to, tell her all the gossip of my 3 hours in the office. And I just came home and I felt, to be fair, I had a bad day. I took the wrong tube. I went to the wrong direction. I didn't notice until I was too late. And basically I came home and boyfriend came in and was like, how was it? And I just burst into tears. I was like, I just feel like I'm back in the same place as I was before. And I don't know, I think I did have a little bit of a trauma come back to me. But then, obviously, now that the cloud of doom is lifted and I made it through my first week, and obviously now I feel really good again, I just feel like, wow, how could I possibly think I'm in the same place? For starters, obviously, I'm on more money. Obviously, that's not everything, but, there's a growth there. There's also a massive growth that, this is exactly what I wanted for hybrid working. And when I used to work in that last place, I used to cry pretty much every day and I have such bad anxiety, and it was before working from home was even a thing because it was pre-pandemic. And now, if somebody'd said to me, do you know what, in a few years time you're going to be doing this and you'll only be here this time and you can, just afford to do this better and whatever, and I think sometimes it's just really easy to forget how far you've come. So I'm ending this week's episode just to remind you that, you know, if you're feeling a bit shit, then just look back at where you were. Only look at the positives, please. Don't look back and be like, I was so much happier when I was with him. But, you know, just look at the positives. I think there's always growth that sometimes we forget to see. Right, for some reason I'm on a self-help thing again, and I can only apologise. Please, somebody send me a story about a dick that they had on the weekend so we can just ramp it back up a little bit. Because, you know, that's what I feel like we're missing at the minute. A big, juicy story about a penis or something equivalent. So yeah, come on guys, any stories, please send them through. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Last week was even a bad one because I didn't have time to prepare it because I had to record it like straight away after Venice. So yeah, this will be the last time I mention it, and yeah, onwards and upwards from here. I'm hoping next week or the week after probably I'll be in my new space that I keep mentioning. But yeah, I'm waiting for a couple of things to come through. And yeah, I'm really excited that I'm finally able to, yeah, put more time on the pod. But yeah, I need your help. Let me know if there's anything you want to see more of or less of. And yeah, please come share your stories with me, guys. They're your love stories, your dating stories, happy, sad, everything. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking finally. I'm sorry, you can tell I'm in a good mood today. And yeah, have a good week, and I'll speak to you next Tuesday. And please remember to follow and like and subscribe. I feel like I've asked a lot this week, but yeah, your gal needs it, so help me out. Okay, thanks guys, speak to you soon.